a brand new episode of Wrestling with Siblings. I'm your host, Araceli, and this is my co-host, Armando.
Hi guys, I'm Armando, and welcome to Wrestling with Siblings.
Alright, let's get started with NXT. The very first match is Finn Balor versus Fabian Aichner.
Finn Balor, he's been on a roll lately. He's been pretty much the old Finn Balor that was down in NXT. I wish we would have got a little bit more of this Finn Balor when he was in Raw and in SmackDown.
I 100% agree with you on that one. I think this is a new reinvented Finn Balor. He kind of went back to his old roots. He refers to himself as the Prince, which is pretty much who Finn Balor was before he was moved up to the main roster, before he came into NXT. Very, very impressive. You know, we finally get to see that old Finn Balor come out. And not only does it come out in his personality, it comes out in his ring action as well. And I think that's great because this Finn Balor now has taken NXT to a new level. And if this Finn Balor goes on to the main roster, it could potentially compete with different competitors up there, such as Andrade. You have people like Ricochet. You have people like Garza, who he can now fully develop.
Not only that, but it's his attitude change. Like you said, we've seen it in the ring, but his attitude has changed. He is more aggressive, and he is taking things a lot more serious down in NXT.
100%. I think maybe he needed a distraction from the main roster. Maybe he needed to go back down there and refocus and rebuild who Finn Balor really is. And I think his move to NXT has really benefited him.
Yeah, and Fabian, really impressive as well during the NXT match. Very athletic and then just very, very powerful.
100% agree with you on that one. I really definitely want to see a lot more of him. I think there's a lot more than we still haven't seen. Putting him with somebody like Finn Balor really showed what he's able to do, and that's the purpose of NXT. And I'm looking forward to see what else Fabian Aichner has to bring to the table. All right, let's move on to the brand new NXT Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair. Keep it very simple, very short for you guys. She basically comes out and says, you know what? I am not only the future, but I'm also the present and the past. And I agree with her on that one. I really do feel like she really cemented her legacy in the past. She's done it in the present, in times now, and now she's gone down to NXT, and she's pretty much going to build that entire division all over again.
I agree with you on that and what Charlotte said. She is the past, the present, and the future of the NXT. And what better way for the NXT women to showcase themselves against a top competitor, a superstar like Charlotte Flair. I mean, she's pretty much the standard of the women's division for everybody.
And she said she's coming for everybody in the NXT division. First, starting off with Io Shirai, who obviously is the number one contender for her championship. And then after that, she is setting her eyes on Mia Yim. Very, very interesting. I'd love to see Charlotte Flair versus Mia Yim. I think that would be a fantastic match, and I think there's a lot that Mia Yim can bring out of Charlotte Flair, something we haven't seen before.
Mia Yim, one of the rising superstars down in NXT. She has a lot of potential from what we've seen of her, and I think she could be the one, potentially, to maybe, if anything, dethrone the queen down in NXT. I mean, we'll see how it all ends up playing out.
I can definitely see Mia Yim being the person that takes down Charlotte Flair, but I guess we'll find out. Mia Yim, the challenge is there. Charlotte Flair has her eyes set on you. All right, let's move on to Aaliyah versus Xia Li.
Xia Li finally getting her revenge after what had happened a couple weeks ago down in the women's
qualifying match. Yeah. So she was basically taken out by Aaliyah, we assume, and Aaliyah thought she was going to get a pass, and nope, that's not the case because Xia Li came back stronger, and she's like, you know what, now I'm going to brutally attack you, now I'm going to cost you an opportunity. And even though she didn't take an opportunity from her, she did give her a beating, and I'm impressed by Xia Li.
Yeah, she did get her revenge. I haven't seen much of her, but from what I saw, she was very, very impressive. She's another one of the women we have to keep an eye out on.
And Aaliyah, very impressive. She was able to keep her composure. She was able to keep herself together. And she was able to really give her a fight. And you really have to give credit to Aaliyah for that. All right, let's move on to Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Akira Tozawa. I really like Scott. I think he has a lot to bring to the table. And from what I've seen, he's extremely impressive. And I think we can use that in the WWE.
He brings a lot of innovation into his matches. If you see this match against Akira Tozawa, it was very, very impressive to me. I think it was the match of the night between both of these athletes. Again, Akira Tozawa I think the difference in this match was his experience, being able to go up and down between the main roster. I think that was the difference maker in this match. And Isaiah Swerve, like I said, very impressive. And if he keeps on facing competitors like Akira Tozawa, he's just going to keep getting better and better.
Oh, yeah. He's already great, and I was really looking forward to this match because I kind of saw him a little bit at TakeOver Houston, and I was very impressed by him, and now seeing him back, I'm just like, wow, that guy is impressive. There's a lot that he can do, and I do agree with you on the Tosawa part. I do feel like his experience inside of the ring is what really made the difference in this match, but you also have to give it to him because not only is he going back and forth, but he dominated the majority of this match with somebody who has a similar style to him. And that sometimes is very hard because, one, you don't know what they'll bring to the table, but two, you're so familiar with their style.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, Isaiah Swerve is what brings the innovation, and I think that's what kind of cost Akira Tozawa a little bit, but he was able to capitalize at the end.
He definitely was. But Akira Tozawa's in-ring abilities and in-ring skills was what was able to make him qualify and finally move on to go on to the Cruiserweight Championship. All right, let's move on to Tegan Nox versus Raquel Gonzalez. Right off the bat, Nox is at the disadvantage. Why? Because Raquel has Dakota Kai right there, and that is the difference maker right there. The numbers game. And we know that sometimes that plays a huge role, and that's something that completely changes everything. And the dangerous part about this is you never know when Dakota Kai is going to strike. She's usually very smart, and she knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah, but in this case, Dakota Kai tried to interfere in the match, and it ended up costing Raquel Gonzalez the match for Tegan Nox to get the win. But I gotta say, I was really impressed by Raquel Gonzalez. She is probably, you could say, the new powerhouse down in NXT, maybe along with Rhea Ripley. But I was really impressed because she dominated 70-80% of the match. If it wasn't for that little distraction that she had, I think she would have been victorious.
I agree with you on that one. She reminds me a lot of Sonya Deville. I see a lot of similarities in her. I like Raquel Gonzalez, and I want to see what she's really capable of. I think putting her with Dakota Kai was brilliant, but I think when she branches off on her own, she's going to do a whole lot better because there's someone there that we still haven't fully discovered. And Tegan Nox, always been one of my favorites. Her in-ring skills are amazing. She has had a series of injuries. I think she's torn her ACL on both knees, if not once, twice, and that was something that Raquel could have used to her advantage if she really, really wanted to.
Yeah, Raquel just wanted to make a statement regardless. She just wanted to get the win and be like, look, I am here. You guys can see me as a threat. And Tegan Nox, a huge victory for her. It's going to only bring more motivation to her. 100%
agree. All right, Tahuti Miles versus Dexter Lumis. I really am a big fan of Lumis, and I've only seen him maybe twice, 3 times tops. Very, very interesting character. I think we haven't seen someone like him in a really long time in the WWE, and I think he's going to bring something completely new to the WWE, and he's just so mysterious. He's so different from everybody else. It's captivating.
Yeah, it gives you that, I wonder what he's going to do next, because he has that serious look, but at the same time, that lost look at when he's at the opponent. You don't know what to expect of him, and that's what catches your attention.
Yep, I 100% agree with you on that one, but his in-ring skills are so great as well. Tahuti Miles is also one of the ones that has impressed me a lot. We've seen him on Raw, and we've also seen him down in NXT. I think he's definitely going to be a top star.
Unfortunately, face someone like Dexter Lumis, which is a total powerhouse, and Dexter Lumis finishing his match is very quick, very impressive.
Yes. All right, Valveteen Dream. He calls out the mastermind, the leader of the Undisputed Era, the NXT champion, Adam Cole. Very, very interesting. I definitely do want to see the feud between these two. I think the match that they're going to have is killer. I think if there's one person that Undisputed Era can't get to, it's definitely Valveteen Dream. I think he has the power mentally to be able to take down Undisputed Era, all 5 of them.
I think, like you said, the mental part is a huge part for Valveteen Dream, and I do see him being the one that takes down Adam Cole. I think Adam Cole as NXT champion, he's been one of the greats, and I think his time is due. I would like to see him up in Raw or in SmackDown as well to see what he could do.
And he does call him one of the best, arguably, one of the best NXT champions. And this is when Finn Balor comes out and he's just like one of the best. I consider myself the best NXT champion. I mean, when you really look at the history from Finn Balor, he's not wrong. He definitely is one of the best. Is he better than Adam Cole? I'm not entirely sure. Like, I wouldn't be able to give you that answer. But he's not so happy with Valveteen Dream. Yeah. And he challenges,
Yeah, and then, again, this is what we were talking about earlier, that the new Finn Balor, he is pretty much picking fights with whoever he wants to pick. I mean, he is targeting Walter now. And now, pretty much, we can say he's going to feud with Velveteen Dream. So if he defeats Velveteen Dream, is he the first one in line for Adam Cole again? We'll see what happens. But like I said, this is the new Finn Balor improved. And I like what he's doing.
100%. All right, let's move on to the main event. Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong representing the Undisputed Era. They're going against Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher. So very, very interesting. The only reason why he's not teaming with Pete Dunne is because he's stuck in the UK, and therefore Pete Dunne sent Timothy.
Timothy, very impressive. I've seen him. It's just his style of wrestling, pretty simple, but he brings a lot to the table. I mean, if you see his submission game, I was very impressed by that. Also, another thing too, I was talking to Araceli when we were watching the match. I was like, he's got that style of Cesaro, and I think he would do good if you were to put him with someone like him.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree with you on that one. He's definitely an interesting character inside of the ring simply because of his in-ring ability, and putting him with somebody with Cesaro would be a killer match, and it's because inside of the ring he does remind you of Cesaro, but he kind of has a little bit of Daniel Bryan in him as well, and I think that match would be absolutely fantastic. I agree with you on that one.
Not only that, but he also has that old school European style as well, just very aggressive, very strong. And I think that was the difference in this match as well, even though you had Bobby Fish and
Roderick Strong.
I consider them probably the best tag team down in NXT. They proved themselves by being tag team champions multiple times, and this was a test for them.
Yeah, and if there was one difference maker here, I definitely do think it was Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong, because they were able to isolate Riddle for a really long time, and they saw Timothy come in at the very beginning, and they were like, oh, okay, if we want a chance to at getting the titles, we're going to have to isolate Matt Riddle, because if we go against Timothy Thatcher, we might not really have that advantage that we would have against Riddle. And they know Riddle. They've been studying Riddle. They weren't prepared for somebody like Thatcher, and I think that might have been what played a huge difference in this match as well.
Yeah, and the Undisputed Era doing what they do best, and that's working as a tag team, working as a unit. Once they get rolling and they start isolating you, pretty much it's ball game from there. And then not only that, you add the numbers game.
Oh, yeah. And it's very interesting because we haven't seen Adam Cole. Now, imagine if the entire Undisputed Era was there, the difference that would have made. But Riddle and Timothy were able to retain the tag team titles. And now it's going to be interesting to see who takes the championships from them. I personally don't think it'll be Undisputed Era. It might be the new guys that came up. But we'll see. We'll find out in the next couple of weeks.
Yep. And we'll like to see how Pete Dunne plays all into this. Is he going to come back as the champion or not? So we'll see how it all ends up playing out.
Because technically, if he's stuck in the UK and Riddle were to lose the championships, he never lost. But because they are a tag team, it causes this entire thing. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. And lastly, Tommaso Ciampa, who says, you know what, Gargano won. It is what it is. He's not even stressing about it. And then he gets attacked by Killer Kross, who I believe they changed his name now to Kenyon Kross. Correct me if I'm wrong. Very, very interesting. Killer sending a very, very interesting message.
Yep, so we'll see what Tommaso Ciampa ends up doing, how his response is going to be in the next couple of weeks.
All right. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Become a part of the siblings today. And for those of you that do not know what WWS stands for, Armando, what does WWS stand for?
Wrestling with Siblings. Thank you guys so much, and see you guys next.